Hey, what is going on, guys? It is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. So today we are talking about Madden EA Sports. It's in the game. It's in the game, right? It hasn't been in the game for me since 2012. I haven't bought this shit ass of a game since 2012, and quite frankly, I don't know why I kept buying it for that long. It was a waste of fucking money. Excuse my friend. It was a waste of freaking money. It was a terrible game, okay? And this is coming from someone who used to buy it when it first came out, like back in the early 2000s. I was obsessed with Madden when I was a kid. That was a great game in the early 2000s. Okay? Even in the late 90s. That game was the shit, yo. With this whole recent, events that blew up yesterday about, the hashtag NFL drop EA hashtag on Twitter, from the YouTuber that exploded it up, I guess, on Twitter, and it was trending third all time. Just about 3 months ago, Madden, or EA, got a 5-year exclusive NFL license extension somehow again. And people are calling foul now with this uprising. But the thing is, and this is the problem with the community, and this is another reason why I stopped playing the game altogether, but there were other reasons too. Because I just started hating the game because they did nothing for me to want to continue playing it, even though I love football and I love playing the game. They did nothing for me to continue playing this game and it being worth $60 to play this game. The reason why I enjoyed Madden back in the early days, and the reason why I would always beg my mom to get me this game back when it was only $50, which was still a lot of money, but when I wanted this game, when I wanted to own this game, it had things that appealed to me as a gamer, not as a competitive Madden player or as a competitive football game player. I'm talking about competitive in game modes. See, the biggest selling point in a video game is the features, the creative modes, story modes, etc. Now, you're limited to doing that in sports, because sports, it's a sports game, right? It's a sports game. You're playing the sport that you would see on television, basically. So you do that, but the thing is you enjoy other stuff around it that makes it worth buying every year, because Madden is a game that literally comes out every year. It's not like a game that will come out every 3 years when they make a sequel or something like that. It wouldn't be like a Dragon Ball Z game, or wouldn't be like, a Batman game or anything like that. It's not going to be a game that's guaranteed to come out every year. Madden comes out every year because they have to do the updated rosters. So every year you're guaranteed to get a new Madden year game, every football season. The problem with that line of thinking is that within 2 years, the game that you paid $50 for literally becomes worthless and becomes probably like $10 in value, because it drops in value. Where games like Dragon Ball Z or Batman games or action-y type games, there's not a guaranteed sequel to those games. So those games become more valuable, and they continue to stay in their price range, where Madden and other sport games, they drop after 2 years. After 2 years, the game's not even that valuable anymore. You know what I mean? So the biggest problem with Madden is you have a subpar game that literally doesn't do anything, doesn't update anything other than the new rosters, from the draft picks and all the free agent signings and the trades from the offseason. That's all they do. That's all they're changing, okay, in the game. That ain't worth $50. So what makes these games worth $50? Well, back in the early 2000s, they did some stuff that actually made the game worth $50. What they did is they put radio show hosts in there, like actual radio people were in franchise mode. And they would actually talk and explain the odds and all this stuff. Very, very good, informative stuff for players that would like the stuff. You'd see the newspapers for stats and stuff like that. You could create your own team. You could relocate a team in franchise mode. Of course, in 2006, they introduced the Superstar mode, which the first year they introduced this, you could have Terrell Davis as your NFL mentor, which he would be a voiceover. There would be a voiceover of the actual Terrell Davis talking. So you had that going on with Madden. So you had some interesting stuff that actually made sense. You had stuff that actually made sense when you did stuff like this. You would have different modes that would help you be interested in the game. It would be in the game. Literally, it's in the game. That's what Madden used to be. I remember as a kid, back in the early 2000s, when I was playing that game for the PlayStation 2, I used to create, in franchise mode, I would create the Dragon Ball Z Fighters. I'm not even kidding. I used to do that. Because Dragon Ball Z was my favorite show at the time, and I would literally create a football team called the Dragon Ball Z Fighters. You could do that stuff in franchise mode. You could create whatever team you wanted. You could create a thing based off of a show. I used to use the one with the two swords, and I think it had the 3 stars with it as the Dragon Ball Z logo. So I used to do that stuff. But by Madden, 2009, I think it was the one with Brett Favre on the logo, they got rid of that. They neutered the game. And they got rid of all the great features that everyone loved and had nostalgia for. It was great. They never updated on that stuff. They just completely rebooted it. This has been explained before, but it still doesn't make sense to me that why you would get rid of shit that actually made your game buyable. They got rid of this, and I started to catch on it very quickly. And the games just stopped appealing to me. I tried to buy the PlayStation 3 versions once I got a PlayStation 3 for a couple of years, and it just wasn't appealing. I didn't like the way the game was anymore. And so I stopped playing Madden. I stopped playing Madden in 2012. I think it was the last year I played the game. 2012 or 2011. I don't remember which one it was. I think the brown guy was on the cover. I forget what it was. I forget what his name is. He freaking was a 1 year wonder. But that was it. After that, it was Peyton. It was Peyton something. I don't remember though. But that was it. That was it for Madden. And I've been saying for years to people, if you want Because right now, as it stands right now, NFL has EA, the people that make Madden, EA has the exclusive NFL license, which means they're the only people that can make the game, for the NFL. 2K can't make a game. Any other video game company can't make the game anymore because they're not allowed to. They don't have the license. Before, Madden in 2005, they didn't have the exclusive license. It was they would be in competition with other companies that would make games, football games. You had Quarterback Club File, which that was another football game that I actually enjoyed too. Back during the Nintendo 64 era, that was the one they had Brett Favre on the cover. Then you also had the 2K one, which a lot of people liked. I was never a big 2K fan, but that was mostly because that started on the Sega. It eventually morphed into... that was the reason why the 2K series even started to begin with. It was because of they wanted it on Sega or something, and then once Sega Dreamcast went out, then they moved it to the other consoles that were out at the time. But I wasn't a big 2K fan, so I didn't know about the whole 2K 5, which a lot of people a lot of Madden fans, or not Madden fans, video game fans for football, have viewed that game as the greatest football game, game of all time. It was the last NFL game that came out that was not under a Madden license, an EA license, and it blew them out of the water. It blew Madden 2005 out of the water. The game was much better than it, and a lot of people compare that game, a 2005 video game, to today's games for Madden, and say how much it's better. But getting back to this whole, this hashtag thing, I want to know, where were you guys? This is what I want to ask, because I've said this product is subpar for years, and I've been telling everybody that will listen that you got to not buy the game, so they will lose the license. So I'm telling people this, and I'm not making 20, 30 videos a day, like other YouTubers that are talking about this topic, because it's obvious that the game sucks. Everyone knows it sucks. 0.4 rating this year? Are you kidding me? IGM literally had to scriptify themselves into saying it was an okay game. You could tell that that's not what they really felt. They gave it a 6 out of 10 because they're a company and they have to be professional to these other games out there for when it comes to Madden. So they have to pretend that it's an okay game. They were saying, the flaws of it, and then they tried to, edge out some of the good things, which weren't really that good, very vague, and saying, ooh, it's an okay game. Clearly see this was all manipulated because they knew it was a terrible game. But the fact that they gave it a 6 and they said it's okay, and the way they worded it, you know it wasn't a good game. It's not a good game when IGM is doing that. So the license got extended 3 months ago, and yet you guys are now bitching about it. You guys should have been bitching about it when it happened. I didn't hear anybody even complaining about it until now, when the game was released. Where were these people complaining about it before? Over the years people have complained about it, but there was no trends and shit like this where people got shit trending. No, we didn't get that shit. Because people don't listen. You want something done, you gotta freaking do it. You gotta go out there. But no, of course, no one does it until it's too late. Now we got another 5 years with this bullshit where I can't even buy a football game because it's crap. I will never buy another Madden game until I see the improvements and shit that they used to do back in the day, which they'll never do. They just give out they give out cheap products. The game is not realistic. Like, you can literally, people have freaking uploaded terrible glitches about it. So you guys, I mean, I'm not going to link them all, but like, just look up Madden glitches, the top 10 or top freaking Madden glitches, and I guarantee you're going to find some horrendous ones. What was the one that was my favorite? My favorite glitch that I have seen to date was the one where they had the rotisserie thing going on. The guy, like, literally, it was, I don't remember what the video was, but I remember it. It was the guy, like, the guy was a Patriots and the Niners, I think the game was. Guy freaking, his leg, like, he's literally hanging up unnaturally in the air, and his freaking leg is, like, spinning around like a rotisserie, of which, and literally guys in the comments are saying, it's a rotisserie! That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. That was the funniest glitch I've ever seen. Look that up. That shit is terrible. It is God funny, God hilarious. Okay, it is God hilarious, but it is God awful for simulation. Over 9,000 power right there. But anyways, the game is a cheap ass product. The game is mediocre. It's been mediocre for years. It's not just this year. Okay, they're saying, 0.4. You know, some of these websites, 0.4, right? You know, except for a couple, you know, probably blind sheep that have, like, that don't know anything about the series and how terrible it is. Okay? Like, this hasn't been something that isn't new for years. This thing has been going on for years and people don't do anything about it. One person can't say it. Everybody gotta do it. And none of you guys do it. None of you guys do it. Now you do it 3 months after a 5-year extension? No. This is bullshit. Now I gotta wait until 2027 or 2027 or whatever. That's some bullshit right there, and it's because of you guys. It's the freaking you guys were the ones that needed to freaking show it. Now you got all these people like saying, "Oh, you know, let's create this hashtag, you know, so they can get rid of the license." They ain't getting rid of the license. They ain't gonna give it up. You know, because the NFL is going to have to pay a lot of money to buy it out or whatever. And this year's probably not the best year for that. So, yeah, you guys are stuck with it because you guys didn't do anything about it sooner. Should have been done. Should have been taken care of. Get rid of them having the exclusive license. I'm okay with them still having a license as long as it's not an exclusive license. You know, so then we can get 2K in there. We can get, you know, other companies in there. You know, maybe someone else besides 2K could come in and frickin' blow Madden out of the water. Not just 2K, you know, but you guys complaining about it. You guys should have complained about it much more sooner. You guys should have been complaining about it like this trend should have been trending 3 months ago. This should have been trending 3 months ago before this was ratified. But no, of course, now we're going to do it. You know, everyone's talking about it now, but the NFL hasn't made an official statement, and they're probably not because they're a freaking billion-dollar company, and they're not going to worry about it because it doesn't matter because as long as people buy the game, they get their money for it. You know what I mean? Once you pay that $60 for that game, Now, supposedly there are free copies because the ratings were so bad, so EA was giving out free copies to people. So they can do a blind review to make it seem like it was better than it actually is. Some stupid shit like that. Just ridiculous. I am, like I said, I'll never buy a Madden game unless they do something that really impressed me, because to me, story mode is very important, even in a sports game. And if you're not going to give me that, and it's just going to be an updated roster bullshit type deal, and nothing else. Like, I don't care about the ultimate teams and all these stupid trading cards that they're doing in the games now. I don't give two shits about that. Alright, I don't care about that. Okay, I don't know why anyone thinks that's a good idea. Like, I mean, what does that do for me? What does that do for me? I want to be engaged with something. I want to have a story mode. I want to believe that I am an NFL player in this game. I want to believe that I can be an owner in the franchise mode, doing all these tradings and all this stuff, ticket sales and all this old stuff that they used to do in the old franchise modes in the early 2000s, and I can't even do it because they won't let me. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, the game is terrible. I hope the movement works. I really do. But, I feel like there's not enough vocal people. And I'm not saying that there aren't people out there. There's the Ryan guy who's been, showing how terrible these games are, for several years. I'm not saying that people aren't doing it. I'm not saying that people aren't trying to, get EA to either change their ways or have the NFL get rid of the exclusive license. I'm not saying that people aren't doing it, but not enough people are doing it. Not enough people are refusing to buy this game. Because if people would not buy this game, they would not have the exclusive license anymore. Because the NFL would pull it from them. As long as the NFL is making money, that's all they give shit about. That is the bottom dollar for the NFL. Okay? That is clear as day, as that's all they give a shit about. Because if they were so okay with morals and shit like this, the Chargers would still be in San Diego. The Rams would still be in St. Louis because they royally screwed them. Okay? The NFL literally lied to the city of St. Louis and basically told them, keep working on the whole, upgraded stadium, and they basically the city of St. Louis basically spent a shitload of money, doing a proposal for a new stadium and putting a new stadium out there, and basically the NFL had pretty much already made the decision that they were moving to LA, but they weren't going to announce it until, they did the voting for that year. They clearly had their mind made up. And they did the same shit to the Chargers, basically, too. The Chargers, mostly the owner, but obviously the owners didn't do anything to stop it from happening. So now they're in LA. No one gives a damn about the Chargers because no one in LA cheers for them. Most people in LA cheer for their own teams. A lot of people don't even cheer for the Rams there. I mean, yeah, there's some of the older fans that cheer for the Rams because they used to be in LA originally. But the thing is most people that are in LA just cheer for their own team. They cheer for there's people in LA that cheer for the Packers. There's people in the LA that cheer for the Steelers. There are people in LA that cheer for the Raiders. Or even the Cowboys. LA usually just cheers for their own team that they like. But, while you can argue that there's some good fan base for the Rams, there isn't for the Chargers. The Chargers get booed and the other team gets cheered. You know, when you go to the Chargers home stadium, they're not even really a home team at their own home stadium because no one cares about them there. But again, the NFL doesn't care because it's all about the bottom dollar. It's all about the stadium deals. If the stadium deals don't happen, they don't care how long the team has been there for. They will move your team. They have done it throughout NFL history, and they will do it again. They do not care. No team is safe. There is no team in the NFL that is safe from relocation. My Packers, I mean, there were a couple times that the Packers almost moved that I recently found out. And we're owned by our own city. The Packers are owned by their own city. And it was mainly because of Brett Favre. You know, why that didn't happen. You know, and all the greatness that he did in the 90s. That kept the team there. So, no team is safe. And having said that, the NFL does not care about your feelings. They do not care that you do not like the Madden game. Alright, they don't care that I don't like the game. They don't care that you don't like the game. That is the doggone truth. They don't care. They care about the bottom dollar. And as long as they're getting their money, that's all they care about. That is all they care about. I doubt this hashtag will do anything. I doubt the NFL will not make a statement. Obviously, EA's not making a statement. As a matter of fact, I guess one of the developers are blocking people on Twitter. So, they're not going to do anything. The only way they would do something is if you stop buying the damn game. If you stop buying the damn game, then the NFL will get involved. But they're not going to get involved just because you guys do some hashtag on Twitter. Okay? That doesn't affect them. You know, NFL drop EA. That does not affect the NFL. So that's my take on this. If you guys want this to happen, you're going to have to do more than a hashtag. You got to stop buying the game. You got to stop buying the game like I have done since 2012, guys. Since 2012, I have not bought this game. But you guys still buy it. And that is why this is the way it is. That's all I got to say. I'm out. I'm the SS Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Hashtag NFL drop EA, please. I'm out of here. Peace.